Okay kids, here's your video for lesson 17T, adding rational numbers. Your instructions for the first part are to add the sum and then write your answer in simplest form. Again, if you guys have questions, if this video is a little confusing for you guys, make sure you turn into your books under lesson 17 and read the beginning of that chapter and look at the examples that they give you, and maybe they'll explain it a little bit differently and in a way that you guys can better understand. But here we go. Find the sum and write your answer in simplest form. Number 1, you have negative 3/4 plus negative 1/8. A. Rewrite fractions with a common denominator and move negatives to numerators. So in this case, we have a denominator of 4 and 8. So what is the common denominator? What's the smallest multiple that both 4 and 8 have in common? That is the number 8. And since the second fraction already has a denominator of 8, don't mess with it. Leave it alone. Now, what did you do with 4 to get it to 8? What did you multiply it by? You multiplied it by 2. And whatever you multiply to the bottom, you multiply to the top. So what is 3 times 2? 3 times 2 is 6, and the negative sign goes with the numerator. For part B, it says add the numerators using integer operation rules or a number line. So here we go. So let's leave our denominators alone, and let's go ahead and add the numerators. So you have negative 6 plus a negative 1. Now, since both of my numbers are negative and I'm adding them together, my answer has to be negative. At this point, I'm going to add their absolute values, and since the signs are the same, I just add the absolute values or just add the numbers. So what's 6 plus 1? 6 plus 1 is 7. For part C, it says write your answer from part B over the common denominator. The common denominator is 8, and my numerator is negative 7. For numbers 2 through 5, the process is the same, or the concept is the same. It's just the numbers are different. Okay, here we go with number 2. On number 2, what's my common denominator? My common denominator is 9, so I'm going to convert both of these fractions so that they have a denominator of 9. Since my second fraction already has a denominator of 9, don't touch it, leave it alone. So what do I multiply 3 by to get 9? I multiply it by 3, and whatever I multiply to the bottom, I multiply to the top. Oop, not 2. It's 3. Okay, so what's 2 times 3? 2 times 3 is 6. Now that my denominators are the same, let's leave them alone. So I'm going to leave 9 all by itself. Let's go ahead and add the numerators. And I'm going to add the numerators over here in black. So I'm going to have negative 6 plus 2. So here we go, negative 6 plus 2. Are my signs the same? No, they're not. So what number is bigger, the 6 or the 2? In this case, the 6 is bigger, so my answer has to be negative. And since the signs are different, I subtract the numbers. So I take 6, the larger number, and subtract the smaller number, which is 2, and that is 4. So my final answer is negative 4. Now, here's the thing. If you guys don't understand the whole integer rule, okay, if you find that concept, the integer sum rule, if you find that concept hard to grasp, use a calculator. It's math class. Use a calculator. It's okay. It's math class. All right? So here we go. So our final answer for number 2 is negative 4/9. Okay, there we go. Number 3. On number 3, we've got negative 1/3 plus 1/4. So again, what's my common denominator? My common denominator is 12. So I'm going to convert both of these fractions so they have a denominator of 12. Let me erase that 4 because that's not true. It's supposed to be 12. Okay, so what do I multiply 3 by to get 12? I multiply it by 4. And whatever I multiply to the bottom, I multiply to the top. So it's 1 times 4. That's 4, and it's negative. 4 times what is 12? That's 3. And whatever I multiply to the bottom, I multiply to the top. 1 times 3, that's 3. My denominators are the same now, so let's go ahead and write that down. Leave it alone. Let's go ahead and add my numerators. So I'm going to add my numerators in red. So I get negative 4 plus 3. Okay, let's see. Let's determine the sign. So I've got a negative number and a positive number. What number is bigger, the positive or the negative? The negative number is bigger, so my answer has to be negative. Since the signs are different, I subtract their absolute values. So I take the number 4, and I subtract the smaller number 3, and that is 1. So my answer is negative 1 for the numerator. So negative 1/12. That's my final answer for number 3. Okay, for numbers 4 and 5, my instructions says for mixed numbers, remember to turn an improper fraction, into an improper fraction before finding the common denominator. So here we go. I'll blow it up again, make it big so you guys can see what I'm doing. So let's go ahead and convert both of these mixed numbers into improper fractions. So let's take the first mixed number first, negative 2 and 1/2. So here we go. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. So I have negative 5 over 2 plus 4 times 4 is 16. 16 plus 1 is 17. So I'm going to add negative 17 fourths. Now what's my common denominator? My common denominator is 4. So I'm going to multiply the denominator in the first fraction by 2. And whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top, okay, to the numerator. And I come up with a new fraction of negative 10 fourths. And I'm going to add that to negative 17 fourths. So now that I have a common denominator, okay, let's go ahead and leave that alone. Don't touch it. Now, let's go ahead and add the numerators. So I have negative, and I'll add the numerators in blue. So I have negative 10 plus negative 17. So if I go to the store and I spend $10 at Old Navy, and then I go over to, I don't know, the Gap, and I spend $17 more, okay, did I spend more money or did I spend less money? Obviously, I spent more money. So I got negative 10 plus negative 17. So my answer is going to be negative. And since my signs are the same, I add the numbers. So what is 10 plus 17? 10 plus 17 is 27. So my final answer is negative 27. And that goes in my numerator. So negative 27. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and simplify my improper fraction. It's negative, so leave it negative. 4 will go into 27 6 times. My remainder is 3, and the denominator stays the same. There you go. On to number 5. Okay, on number 5, I've got 4 1/3 plus a negative 3 1/2. So here we go. Improper fractions first. So 3 times 4 is 12. 12 plus 1 is 13. So I've got 13. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. Write it better. So I've got 13 thirds plus 2 times 3 is 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. So I'm going to add it to negative 7 halves. Okay, so negative 7 halves. Make that 7 look like a 7. Okay, common denominator. What is my common denominator? What's the smallest multiple that 3 and 2 will go into? That would be 6. So I'm going to convert both of these improper fractions so that they have a denominator of 6. So 3 times what is 6? That's 2. And whatever I multiply to the bottom, I have to multiply to the top. So 13 times 2 is 26. 2 times what is 6? That's 3. And whatever I multiply to the bottom, I multiply to the top. Okay, so what's 7 times 3? That's 21. Okay, so here we go. My denominators are the same, so leave them alone. Let's go ahead and take care of our numerators. Let's add those, and I'll do that in red. So I've got 26 plus negative 21. What's my answer going to be? What number is bigger, 26 or 21? 26 is bigger, and it's positive, so my answer has to be positive. And since my signs are different, I'm going to subtract the numbers. So let's take the large number, 26, subtract the smaller number, 21. That's 5. So my final answer for the numerator is positive 5. Okay, so I'll put that in red over here. So positive 5. And that's it. I'm done reducing. The greatest common factor between 5 and 6 is 1. So you're done. Okay, let's go to the back side. Okay, so on the back side of this worksheet, we're going to be working with decimals. So your instructions for the first for this part is just to find the sum. So on number 6, you've got 4 plus 4 plus 2.8. Both of those decimals are positive, so you just add them. Okay. So what's 4 plus 8? 4 plus 8 is 12. Carry the 1. 4 plus 2 is 6, plus 1 more is 7, and then you can bring down the decimal. Oh, I forgot to tell you, when you add or subtract decimals, what's the number one thing you have to make sure that you do? That's right, line up the decimal. Okay, anyway, number 7. You've got 3.1 minus 1. I'm sorry, 3.2 minus 1.1. Again, first thing, line up the decimal. They've already got it for you here, so that's nice of them. So now we just subtract. 2 minus 1, that's 1. Bring down the decimal point. Okay, right there. And then what's 3 minus 1? 3 minus 1 is 2. So my final answer is 2.1. Okay, for number 8, you have negative 0.2 plus negative 3.3. Part A says, shade in the sign of your answer. Okay, since we're adding two negative numbers together, my answer has to be negative. Okay, now it says shade in the operation you would use. Since both numbers are negative, I'm going to add them together to come up with my final answer. So when the signs are the same, you add the numbers. When the signs are different, you subtract. Okay, part C says, rewrite vertically and solve. Okay, so on this one, we already know that the answer is going to be negative. Okay, so write that down and don't mess with it anymore. Since both numbers are negative, I'm going to add their absolute values. So here we go. So I'm going to say 3.3 plus 0.2, and then line up the decimal points. Okay, so 3 plus 2, that's 5. Carry down the decimal, and then 3 plus 0 is 3. So my final answer is negative 3.5. Okay, let's do the rest of this worksheet. Okay, on number 9, we've got 5.5 plus negative 3.3. So let's determine our answer. We have a positive number plus a negative number. So what number is bigger, the positive or the negative? The positive number is bigger, so my answer has to be positive. Now, since my signs are different, I subtract their absolute value. So you take the larger number, 5.5, and I subtract the smaller number, 3.3. So what is 5 minus 3? 5 minus 3 is 2. Bring down the decimal. And then what's 5 minus 3? Hey, check it. It's 2 again. So my final answer is positive 2.2. Number 10. We've got negative 0.9 plus 0.4. I've got a negative plus a positive. So let's determine what my answer is. What number is bigger, 0.9 or 0.4? Let's think about it this way. If I have 90 cents and my wife has 40 cents, who has more money, me or my wife? Obviously I do. So guess what my answer has to be in this case for number 10? It has to be negative. Now, since the signs are different, I subtract the numbers. So let's take the larger number, 0.9, and subtract the smaller number, 0.4. Okay, I better make my 9 look like a 9 before my kids look at it and say, Daddy, that doesn't look like a 9. Sorry. Okay, so here we go. What's 9 minus 4? 9 minus 4 is 5. Bring down the decimal. And what's 0 minus 0? That's 0. So my final answer is negative 0.5. And again, I'm going to say this one more time, and you'll probably hear me say it again. If you're not understanding this whole integer sum rule, okay, if you're not understanding it, use your calculator. Okay? Eventually, I guarantee you, I'd months, a year's wages, that at some point in your life, you're going to start to understand this stuff. I guarantee it. I promise you. Number 11. Here we go. Negative 4.66 plus 2.34. What number is bigger, the positive number or the negative number? The negative number is bigger, so my answer has to be negative. Since the signs are different, I subtract the numbers. So I take the larger number, 4.66, and I subtract the smaller number, 2.34. What's 6 minus 4? That's 2. What's 6 minus 3? That's 3. Bring down the decimal. And what's 4 minus 2? That's 2. So my final answer is negative 2.32. Number 12. You've got 3.6 plus negative 5.8. So what is my answer? Is it going to be positive or negative? Well, what number is bigger? The negative number is bigger, so my answer has to be negative. The signs are different, so what am I going to do with my numbers? Add them or subtract them? Since the signs are different, I'm going to subtract them. So let's take this large number, 5.8, subtract the smaller number, 3.6, and what's 8 minus 6? That's 2. Bring down the decimal, and what's 5 minus 3? That's 2. So my final answer is negative 2.2. All right, number 13, let's talk about Peter. Okay, Peter, number 13. Peter started running and lost 3.6 kilograms during the first month. He took a 2-week break and gained back 1.2 kilograms. Part A says, One of the decimals should be written as a negative number. Which one is it and why? Well, it should be obviously negative 3.6. Why? Because Peter started running and lost that much weight. Part B says, find the sum of the two numbers to determine the total change in Peter's weight. So the first month he loses 3.6. The next month, or he takes a 2-week break, okay, and then he gains back, so he gains 1.2. So again, let's figure out what my answer is going to be. Is it going to be positive or negative? It's going to be negative because a negative number is bigger. Now, since my signs are different, I'm going to go ahead and subtract my numbers. So I would do that in blue. So I got 3.6 minus 1.2. So what's 6 minus 2? 6 minus 2 is 4. And then 3 minus 1, that's 2. I put the decimal point in between. So my final answer is negative 2.4. All right, at this time, go ahead and get out a piece of paper. Here's your assignment for this video lesson. Assignment. Okay, so on your piece of paper, please put put the period at the top. Please put your name. Please put math. Underneath math, go ahead and put page 84, and its numbers 2 to 24 even. Underneath that, please put today's date, not the word date, but put today's date. And then on the top left-hand side, go ahead and put lesson 17. That's it. If you guys have any questions, make sure you raise your hand, and I'll come around and confuse you as best as I possibly can. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.